my sweet friends, I hope you are all well. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. We are going to work on a folio created with some one-sheet wonders, and then we're going to bring them together into a sturdy cover. So we're going to get the best of both worlds, a fast and easy project that goes through a ton of your collection, and this is going to be so much fun to create. And so this is going to be a 4x6 folio, and inside we have a lot of pockets. So each section is going to have 2, and we have 4 of those for this folio. So plenty of room in here for your pictures and journaling. Adding that second layered pocket really improves how much space you have. We still have full-size pages in here as well, and lots of room to really fill this up with your pictures and your memories. At the end of the tutorial, I will be sharing some projects. So I have a card here made from that same collection, as well as a big old stack of Halloween cards. It was my intention to continue on with my Halloween tutorials after our series, but I was just ready to move on. And so we're going to begin some fall projects today. And if that sounds good to you, then stick around and we will work on them together. So I've got my Simple Stories Simple Vintage Country Harvest. This is the collector essential kit. And I just picked this up because it was a good value. I shared it during our October series haul, and it did come with a lot of extras that would not be included in the regular 12x12 kit where you would just get the stickers. But for today, my goal really is to get through what is left of this. And we did one project earlier, and so this is what I want to do. Got through this so that I can make room for new paper. I'm gonna just show you here real quick, but later on I'll tell you what I've got left and what I think about it. So this is all that's left of my collector kit. And then also I have this roll of washi tape. So my strategy is to create a folio using the one sheet wonder style inserts and then bring them together in a sturdy cover so that this will not only be going through our stash, it will be very quick and easy to make. And really you can go through quite a lot of your papers because you're using the full width, and you can get 2 of these from each 12x12 paper. So here's what we're gonna be working toward. And I have created something similar in the past from other ideas that I find on the internet, but I'm going to add a secondary pocket from my offcuts. And so this just includes some additional layering, but adds quite a lot of space for adding our pictures and our journaling, little things you want to tuck in that maybe you don't want to glue down. And so this would be 2 of the inserts that we're creating, and then I'm using the offcuts to add that secondary pocket. So let's work on that insert. And as I mentioned, we've got the full width of that 12x12 paper. We're cutting it into 6-inch high strips. So I want to make my first score line at 4, and then the second one at 8. And so this will be divided into thirds. And you do want to consider what you want showing for the inside and the outside. We will be combining 2 of these for each side, and that gives us a total of 4. So we're going to have plenty of room to show off these beautiful patterns. And so for this one, I want to have my pocket on the right hand side. So I'll just fold up that side here. And then in order to create that diagonal pocket, I'm going to come in with my T-square ruler, and I'm going to mark this 1.5 inches up. Then I will take my ruler and bring that to the corner where my score line is, and then I'll draw a line down until it intersects with the pencil line I added here. So I'm just going to use the scrap from the other side to demonstrate what we'll be taking off. And once you have your first cut, makes sense to just use this as a template so that all of your cuts will be the same. So I'll just hold this in place and then cut along that line. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but get it as straight as you can. You can even use your guillotine cutter if that helps you to arrive at a nice crisp line there. So make sure you hang on to these. This is what's going to become your secondary pockets. But now you've got this, and you want to fold on the next score line. So this will become one of the inserts, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue down here. But before I do that, I want to just take a quick second and clip off a little bit of this excess so that it doesn't create bulk right there where you're trying to fold it. Don't have to remove too much, just a little bit. And then I'm going to bring in my Tombow, and I'm only adding glue to the very bottom, using it very sparingly so that it doesn't squish out. And because we don't have our 2 glue combo, you will have to hold that in place for a time that that glue will set up and be secure. So I'll do that off camera, and then I will rejoin you when I have that done. So this is well adhered now, and we're ready to move on. I have the same exact measurements and scoring for the other side, but I chose to put my pocket going this way, and that way when they're folded up, they will hold the items in place. And so I want to adhere these to each other. And this is where we will use our 2 glue combo. I'm just going to bring those edges together. Keeping it straight and even as I work along. And then that double-sided tape will hold it in place while we wait for the glue to set up, but we can continue to work along. So remember, we have those 2 pockets, and what I want to do is take those offcuts and layer them on. And so I'm going to choose one from the pattern on the other side so that we get a good mix of those patterns. And I'm just going to hold this here in place and take my pencil and mark where I have that first pocket cut so that I can keep these nice and even. Then I'm going to add glue to only this side and the bottom. Then I'll lay that down into this corner and hold that in place until that glue sets up. I'll repeat that same process for the other side, and then I'll meet you back here when that is ready to continue to work along. Okay, so now I've got all of my pockets in place here, and then I did just take a quick second to add my double-sided tape to the back of this one. Remember, we have another one for this side as well, and so I want to now bring these together in a sturdy cover. So I'm going to choose some beautiful rich brown cardstock. I think it works really well for this fall folio. And what I want to do now is, using my 2 glue combo, adhere these to this cover, and then we will consider where our score lines fall. Two glue combo is a must for these layers. They are a little bit heavier and thicker. We want them to be very secure. We also want to keep in mind where those pockets are going to fall. So let's just bring these together now. Press that into place and then flip it around and add the second insert. So now I've got those two inserts added to the cover. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard and we can put our score lines in. I'll just bring this to one of the grooves here in the scoreboard so that I can run my score tool right along the edge of where that folded insert is. I'm right-handed, so I'll flip that over and just repeat that process for this side. That way you know you've got all of your score lines exactly where you want. Sometimes when you're scoring and folding, it can add a little bit of extra depth, and so this way you'll be sure that everything lines up correctly. So now I'm just going to fold on those score lines. You're gonna got that nice crisp edge. Do the same for the front as well. Now you can see we've got a nice sturdy cover here, and then our pocket pages inside. I've got a couple of pieces of additional pattern to put on here, and simply because this pattern did not really lend itself to having the opposite side shown. There was a really big image on here, and so it wasn't going to work very well for flipping it upside down or for having only a portion of it showing. So I decided to come in with another pattern from that collection, and so I have these cut to be 5 7/8 by 3 7/8, so we get a little border of that insert showing. And this just gives us an additional pattern. You know, I'm always going to want plaid, and so I think this is a great addition. Also, it helps to make it a little bit more sturdy, and so this is a perfect way to finish the inside. With some layering patterns, and then I do have one cut for the back as well. Let's get this flipped a little bit more flat. You will have the benefit of being able to see directly over the top, and so getting this centered will be easier for you, but you see we did get there in the end. And so I do want to have a ribbon closure, and this is beautiful plaid in brown from Really Reasonable Ribbon. I'm just going to pull this around and then temporarily tack that down. And then I'll cover that with the same pattern for the front as I did the back. You could easily switch this collection out for just about anything, any theme, any holiday, and that would be so easy and fast to make these. I think they would be ideal if you do craft shows or craft fairs, and they would make an excellent gift because you're not so heavily invested in all of the trimmings and things, so you can make many of these and give one to everyone. So here is that cover, and I just want to do one little layering pattern, kind of break up a little bit of that plaid, and so I cut this so that it would be 3 7/8 inch wide, and then I could utilize that border we already have. And so of course I do want to have a doily here to break up a little bit of that busy pattern. And then my image was cut from one of the 3x4 cards. And I did put that on spacers. I put an eyelet there and put a little twine in as well. My flower arrangement is kind of small because we only have 4 inches here of width, and so I picked 2 pretty chrysanthemums in a mixed earth tone, a little bit of foliage, a little bit of netting, and a little bit of twine, and that's just going to be here, and that will kind of anchor the bottom of this folio. And remember, we have all of those pockets, so let's utilize our 3x4 cut aparts. It's not going to work so well with the 4x4 because you'd have to trim them down to make them narrow enough, but this is going to be 8 of these for the inside, and that pretty much covers the entire sheet of 3x4. So if you're looking to work through those images, this is a great way to do it. And I'm just going to mix and match here. Remember that we have a pocket in the back and a pocket in the front, so we can layer those up. We can add a bigger picture on this side as well because we still have those full-size pages. And so let's just continue to add these to our pockets. There's a little room in there for some additional flat keepsakes and mementos. Here's 2 full-size pages for that. We've got, put that one in upside down. And then 2 for the back, and that's going to cover those inserts. That's going to give you a lot of extra room for adding all of your pictures and your details. I'm just going to tie this up here really quickly, and then we can add those final finishing details for the cover. And by the way, this is an album that you could finish as little or as much as you like. If you don't want all these dimensional things on there, you definitely do not have to add them. This is just my own personal style and how I like to finish things, but make it the way that you like, and then it will be perfect for you. So of course I want to add a couple of my little charms here. I always add these on string, and then I add them with hot glue, covering that with a button. Adding a couple of those sequins with a little tombow. And so that's going to be it for this project. And remember that I said I had some additional things to share about the collections that I'm trying to work through. And so earlier today, I did create this card as well. I really wanted to demonstrate that you can use the holiday or theme collections for something other than that holiday or theme. I think this is beautiful, warm, rich colors, and it would be perfect for fall, but it doesn't have to be. This is just kind of an all occasion card, enjoying your special day. Could be birthday, could be a new house, whatever you want to use it for, but I did not use this for the holiday, and so this helps me to extend the amount of use I got from it. And then also I created the flowers for this card using the offcuts from the collection, and so these are just paper flowers that I finished with some double head stamens that I got from Really Reasonable Ribbon. And this is a very layered look, all of my favorite finishing details, but definitely not for the holiday. And so here's what I have left of that collection, pretty much the entire sticker sheet. I don't know that I even pulled one off. Nope, the whole sticker sheet is still here. I'm okay with that because I will use these for my own traveler notebooks, for my own scrapbooking, and so I'm fine with that. And then I have this paper left over, a couple of little branding strips here. There is plenty enough to create at least one more card, and so I'll probably challenge myself to do that, but I do feel some sense of accomplishment getting through a collection and then moving on so that I can have something new to work with. I did that for my Cartabella Halloween collection as well. And so I just sat down and I came up with different combinations of the pattern papers. Some have the larger images. I put some frames on some. I've got all handmade flowers for these as well. I'm really into these really big ones. They really a lot of impact for your card. And so those were fun to make. I got a couple here that I have in a sweet and simple style. They are very layered and very detailed, but I don't have all of the dimensional items in them, and they're not having spacers. So these are going to fit perfectly in a regular standard envelope. They're going to need a little bit of extra postage, but they don't have all those dimensional finishing details. This was a lot of fun to kind of go through and just bring in different combinations and get a similar but very different look. And then here's that last one with more of those big flowers. And so this was a way for me to just push through and work through the rest of that collection. And so this one is down to the branding strips. I don't even have enough to show you. And then of course my sticker sheet. So that's all for today. A little bit of project, a little bit of show and tell. I sure do hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check in the description for links. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. And I thank you so much for watching. Bye.